Today, I take the Campervan trail along the Norfolk coast.
The landscapes are just flat and big and wide with these most enormous skies.
I show you the best way to break open a crab without all of the fancy tools. I have a go at roadside roulette.
Here's one. Let's go. Let's see what they've got.
Cooking food only from roadside stalls. A Campervan gadget saves the day.
Pretty warm.
And I do battle with the finger-snapping main course.
Look at the size of those claws. They're amazing. Ow, 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 ow. Have I got a pot that's big enough?
For the next leg in my Campervan adventure, I said goodbye to the New Forest and drove 230 miles northeast, heading for the tip of Norfolk. And as my trusted van sped merrily along at 50 miles an hour, it wasn't just the landscape that was changing.
Hey, fantastic. From the New Forest ponies to the Norfolk cobs. The hedgerows are absolutely bursting with flowers. There are really lovely crimson poppies. There's also some purple flowers in there. But because I'm not travelling at massive speed, I'm able to take it in and enjoy it a bit more than I would be if I was travelling at 100 miles an hour down the motorway.
As it's the easternmost county in Britain, no one passes through Norfolk en route to anywhere else. This isolation gives it a much slower pace of life. It's ideal for pootling along, exploring in a campervan.
The villages are kind of picture postcard perfect almost, and the landscapes are just flat and big and wide with these most enormous skies.
And reflecting the vast sky is the North Sea, home to some of the best seafood around.
This part of Norfolk is world famous for crab and something else that I'm going to go and look for today. Because if there was one thing that you could eat that would say that is the sea, it's this plant. I pick it in Devon, where it's known as samphire. Here they tell me it's called samphire. Samphire, who cares really? It's absolutely lovely, and I'm going to go and get some.
Samphire can be found in July and August, growing on Norfolk's salt marshes. Luckily, this part of the coast is full of them, so I was hoping to find some for my dinner.
The thing about samphire picking is that more than likely I'm going to get a little bit muddy, so it could be a good opportunity to try out my solar shower. So the basic idea is fill up this great big bag with water. Hopefully when you get back you've got yourself some nice warm water to wash in. There we go. All I've got to do is leave it in a sunny spot for a few hours and bingo, hot water.
So I wandered across this wide open space to find the first part of tonight's crab and samphire menu. This kind of foraging trip is filled with hazards. The salt marshes are only exposed at low tide, so as the tide comes in, the muddy channels and creeks are hidden in the flat landscape. Checking the tides for the window of opportunity is vital. One wrong step could spell disaster. It helps to have some local knowledge. So I've arranged to meet Lawrence.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you doing? Now, I understand the samphire grows all round here, but is there an area that's better than another area?
There is some areas where that's better than others.
Do you think there might be some places where we can get enough, just enough for a meal for one?
I would probably think I can put you in the right place for that.
I was in luck. Lawrence has been a daily visitor to these marshes for a staggering 70 years. Now that's what I call local knowledge.
So the best bits, you reckon, are in these creeks, is it?
At the moment they are.
Okay.
Now, samphire picking is not as easy as it might sound. Incoming tides are one danger, but so too are the crabs that live in these creeks. Step on one of them hidden in the mud,
Is that a crab? Let's have a look.
and they'll give you a nip you won't forget in a hurry.
Not really big enough to eat. He's a little feisty common crab by the looks of things, and he's trying to take a nip of my fingers.
Feeling a bit more relaxed about the potential crab danger, we carried on looking for the samphire I was hoping to use for tonight's dinner.
What do you think of that? This stuff here looks lovely, doesn't it?
Yeah, there, and over there, look. That's good enough to pick.
Hey, this looks fantastic. It's really, really succulent. The important thing I'm doing here is I'm snipping it. I'm not pulling it up by the roots. And I'm only taking what I need. And I'm also only taking from a small area.
That's right. If everybody done that, it would be all right.
I could have left it there, but as the old saying goes, the samphire always looks greener on the other side of the creek.
Oh, that is quite deep.
I'd spotted an even better looking patch.
But it's not unpleasant. Between my toes. Success! Oh, this is why I've come here. This is the point. This is the fantastic, succulent green samphire that people pay a fortune for in restaurants, and we're out and about in the camper van picking up for free. Well, because this stuff is just young enough, it's the beginning of the season, it's just about ready, you can eat it straight from the bank. The taste of the sea is just, it really is divine. Well, you're not wrong. This is the best stuff.
It is.
This spot was perfect for samphire, but down in the mud, it was also home to a family of rather angry crabs.
That's the good stuff. Oi! Whoa! That was definitely something. There's something eating my foot, I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to get out of here now. I've got just enough for a really good feed. I mean, this type of foraging really is just about getting down and dirty in the mud and having fun. But it's going to taste good too. Now I'm going to go and look for something else to eat with this. Maybe some of the famous seafood.
The samphire was free, but I'd paid a price. Salt marsh mud is oily and smelly, and I wasn't sure my solar-powered shower would be up to the job.
Let's have a feel. Oh well, it's not exactly. Oh no! Oh, actually, that is pretty warm. I might have to set it up, leave it out for a little bit longer, and go for the full thing another day. Just getting muddy and getting messy is all part of it, really. We're all a bit sanitised at home, so it's good to get some mud between your toes, feel it squelching and get bitten by the odd crab. That's better.
With my first ingredient on board, it was time to head to the local quayside for tonight's main attraction.
Well, now I've got my samphire, the tide should be on the way in. And that means, if I'm lucky, I'm able to catch some fishermen and pick up some fresh crabs.
The best way to get the freshest seafood possible is to stand on the quayside and wait for the boats to come in and see if they'll sell you your dinner straight from their haul. After a short wait, a boat chugged into the quay at Brancaster Staithe.
Hello, how you doing? Yeah, good. Good day? Not bad?
The waters around the North Norfolk coast are famous for producing some of the best brown crab in Europe.
So what type of crabs are these then?
Just a brown crab.
Brown crabs, they're the edible crabs?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, fantastic.
Peter Luce and Andy Frary spend most of the summer catching the brown crab, which only emerge from hibernation in the warmer months. Today, they've landed about 800.
He looks pretty deadly. One of his mates has got hold of his foot. We'll pull that out. Get off, get off, get off. Look, there's a whole pile of them. Look at the size of those claws, they're amazing. I really wouldn't fancy getting pinched by this big fella. And I wonder if he's one for the pot.
The male crabs, or jacks, are the prized catch, as their bigger claws mean more white meat.
Ow, ow, ow. So it's the jacks that are the tasty ones.
No, they say the small ones are sweet. I don't eat them myself, but
Hang on, what did he just say?
So you're a crab fisherman
yeah,
and you don't eat crab.
no,
What's your favourite food?
anything really.
Except crab.
Yeah, don't eat a lot of fish.
Right, okay. That's odd, isn't it?
No, my father, he's a mussel fisherman. He's 67. He's never even eaten mussels. So
Really?
yeah.
Peter was clearly not the one to turn to for crab cooking advice. Luckily, Andy was a crab fisherman who actually ate crab.
Bring it up to the boil and you want to boil it for about, simmer it for about 18-20 minutes. Then that'll be cooked then.
What's your favourite way of eating crab?
Yeah, just basically as it is really, with a piece of bread and butter. The
That's
old-fashioned way.
The old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
I've got some lovely samphire. Should be pretty good with that, I would have
That'll
thought.
be lovely with that.
Yeah. Keep it simple. Just going to boil the samphire, maybe with a bit of butter.
Yeah.
Boil this up, and then I'm going to have a little lemon risotto with it. Should be lovely. I can't wait. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So finally I had my crab and was ready to cook my dinner.
After all that excitement on the quayside, hardly even noticed. But the weather's cleared up again. That should make for a great evening, eating my lovely fresh crab.
But whilst crab and freshly picked samphire were a pretty good base for tonight's meal, the joy of campervan living means there's always the opportunity to pick up a few extras on the way home.
There's loads of stuff growing here. I might have something that will go really superbly. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Just as I thought. Wild fennel. It's a beautiful aniseed smell. It goes fantastically with fish and seafood, so I'll pick some of that and save it for later. So, I've got my crab, I've got my samphire, all the ingredients of a great meal. All I need to do now is camp up for the night. Unfortunately, on this part of North Norfolk, you can't just park anywhere. But I have heard about a really great campsite. That's where I'm headed now.
The High Creek Sands campsite at Stiffkey is perched on top of a picturesque hill, but that can create problems.
So one of the things about having a great view, sometimes you don't get the flattest pitch. So I'm just going to chalk up. What the chocks do is you drive up onto them and it brings the van level so that your pots and pans don't slide around all over the cooker when you're cooking. It's quite important actually because it's really difficult to cook on a slope.
With a level van, I could start prepping what was going to be one of my more adventurous campervan dinners. Fresh crab with a lemon risotto and samphire. First I had to make a tasty stock, then I gently softened some onions and garlic in butter as a base to go with my risotto rice.
Okay, so this is my stock that I'm about to add. Some of that wild fennel, garlic and basil, and a vegetable stock cube. Very simple, much better than just a stock cube with hot water. So just adding the stock to the risotto, letting that bubble away, and let the rice take on those lovely flavours of the fennel and the garlic and the bay in that stock. And I'm going to add the lemon and the lemon zest. However, more importantly, the water's on for the crab. I hope the pot's big enough. I've never done this in a camper van before, so let's see what happens. So, leave him there for 20 minutes. Time for a chill.
I couldn't totally relax, however, as I still had to keep topping the risotto up with stock and keep an eye on the ever-changing weather. But 20 minutes later, it was time for the main event. My crab was ready. All I had to do next was get through its formidable defences.
Pull the claws off. Oh, you can see that crab meat already. That really is fantastic. I'm just using the tea towel on this because it's still a little bit hot. There we go. Wow, look at that. Okay, so what we're going to do, get all these lovely bits of flesh here. As you can see, there's all this absolutely wonderful crab meat in there. It's the brown meat. All the different parts of the crab taste different. They've all got their own special little taste. There are few more pleasurable things in life than doing this. Picking apart a crab that's so fresh, it's bursting with flavour, knowing that in just a very few minutes I'm going to be tucking into this.
But I spoke too soon. These jack crab claws were far too big to break with my bare hands.
Oh, that's a bit more difficult than I thought. So
Then I remembered a tip from our fish